Today's topic is job negotiations. Now, job negotiations are something that most of us will have to go through at some point in our careers. You might be facing one right now, or you might anticipate that in the future you are going to be entering some negotiations when it comes to the employer contract and figuring out what it is that you want within that package from your employer. I will talk about specific other negotiations in separate videos. Today I'm going to be talking about that stage where you have received an offer from your employer and you are now trying to make sure that you secure the right package for you without derailing the whole process. Often, by the time we reach offer stage, we're very invested in that company. This is a challenge in itself because it means that we can be scared to ask for what it is that we want, and yet we probably have a number for the salary and we have some other benefits that we are very keen to ask for. So how do we do all of this in a way that both satisfies our requirements, values us properly, but meanwhile doesn't damage relationships with our future employer or even derail the process? The first part of this is, and this requires a little bit of forward thinking ideally, you are going to have the most power in that job negotiation if you have some other options on the table. Ideally, you want to be cultivating positions where you have 2 or 3 offers, or you have some other options. This means that you can have a position of power in that negotiation because you don't mind walking away. And unfortunately, when we are in that very invested, very emotionally attached already to that particular offer position, our negotiation power is lower. That's fine. We can acknowledge that. And let's say you're currently in that position yourself and you've got a great offer, but you've only got one offer and you really don't want to derail it. We just need to acknowledge the power bands that we're in, and we can make the best of them, but we could have more power if we had more options that we were being willing to entertain. So that's part number 1, being aware of what your power is and ideally expanding it by having more options on the table for yourself. The second piece is that we are all our own worst negotiators. So even myself, I have run many programs on negotiating and influence, I've coached a lot of people on this, and throughout my career, I managed to secure some really good offers for myself. Despite all of that, I know that I am my own worst negotiator because I'm always going to be very attached to that job. I'm going to think it's the best thing since sliced bread. I am not going to want to be unpleasant. I don't want to have a difficult dialogue with potentially my future employer. I worry about, upsetting them. And overall, I am not going to do myself the best service. Unfortunately, I'm still going to have to negotiate for myself. So the next best thing is to solicit the opinion of those around you, trusted people, ideally maybe some people who have progressed further in their careers along the lines of your career and that can give you some insights about what sorts of things you should be asking for. So really do your homework on that. Particularly if you're a woman watching this, I do advise my female clients to get some opinions from men because the research shows that the men are going to be more aggressive when it comes to securing and asking for what they want. So what you want to be able to do is make sure that you are not playing low ball and not asking for the full range of what you could ask for. And then your market research as well. So you're building up a really good basis upon which your negotiation can stand. And actually, when you're even making that case, that enables you to do it from a researched position, from a position of not just numbers in the air. I've done my market research, I've surveyed other contemporaries and people who are certainly slightly further on, and these are the sort of ballpark figures that I'm seeing, and so I wanted to have a conversation around these figures to see if we could arrive at something that is more in line with those, and that enables you to have that more weighty, credible conversation when it comes to specific numbers or other things that you're asking for. So that's the second piece. Really do your research and get other people's opinions because your own opinions at this stage might be slightly distorted. The final piece is going back to this careful balance of power again. So we've talked about the benefits of having multiple offers and how that can increase your power. The other thing that is going to increase your power is how uniquely suited you are to that specific role. Now, early on in our careers, that's going to be a bit harder because there are probably many people that will have similar skill sets, and therefore, even at that early stage, we are already somewhat replaceable. And what that means is that earlier on in your career, you do have slightly less negotiation potential, and that is okay. You just need to know what those bounds are and work within that. On the other hand, you may already have some rare skills. You might have done a degree in economics and then studied law, and so now you've got a really commercial approach to the way that you would approach the legal profession, and you might say, look, this adds to my value I'm going to be able to add. Wherever you have those unique combinations and you see that there is a fit for your role, you have rare and valuable skills, as Cal Newport, a great career writer, would describe. Likewise, if your job, so that's about you and the skills that you can offer, if your job also demands a very specialized set of skills and you have those, you are likely to also have a high negotiating power within that. If we're talking grad roles, if we're talking about very close to graduate level roles and a bit beyond, your power is just going to be limited. You still have more of a commodity value, and actually part of the great career building process is about building increasingly rare and valuable skills so that you over the years continue to increase your negotiation power in future negotiations. I can get into that in future videos, and I can also get into the specific components around which you can negotiate. For the purposes of this video, I hope that this has given you a few broad and general steps that you can tailor to your situation to really judge that balance of power correctly. Go in with very credible and rational, but yet market driven and, hopefully quite ambitious proposals, and really walk that line and strike that balance between developing a great relationship with your future employer whilst also in a very nice way asking for what it is that you want and need from your future role. So I hope you found that helpful. If you did, please like and subscribe, and I will be back with more videos answering questions that I frequently get or that I'm specifically asked in my work as a coach. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.